everybody, it's Kristen. So for my next installment in my 4 Looks 1 palette series, I am going to go ahead and use the Warm Neutrals palette from Sigma, which looks like that. I purchased this from their website a couple months ago, I guess, and I decided it was time to start playing with it, and I know a lot of you really wanted to see this. So, that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the first look. So, the first look that I did today, I used oyster sand as my brow bone highlight. For my crease color today, I used Mild Mannered. I used Dove all over my lid. I did take a little bit of, what color was it that I used? I used a little Balance on my inner third, but just the tiniest little bit, not a lot at all. And then I deepened things up with this color right here in Russet. So I'll zoom you in and then I will come back out and talk about the rest of the look. So here's the look. Okay, so for liner today, I use my Tarte Skinny Smolder Eyes in Plum on my top lash line and upper waterline, and I use my Maybelline Taupe Takeover taupe liner underneath my lower lash line. If you are new to 4 Looks 1 palette, I use the same mascara and base throughout the entire video, and I will list that below for you. For my cheeks today, I used my Clinique Cheek Pop in Plum Pop. And on my lips today, which I know is crazy and not normal for me, I used the MAC lip liner in Magenta, which is now on the ground. And I used Heavenly Hybrid from MAC. I'll give you a little swatch there next to the palette colors. It's like that. Look number 2 is kind of a warm, sunsetty, smoky-ish kind of look. So I have this color right here in Optimistic all over the lid. And I used Cinnamon, which is right here, in the crease on a fluffy brush. And then I have Warm Stone, which is this one right here. Reminds me a little bit of Narcissus Galapagos. I have that, you know, deepening everything up. And on the inner corner, I have a little kind of combination of Innocent and Oyster Sand, which is right here. Sorry. Innocent and Oyster Sand. It's backwards on here to here, by the way. I took a combination of Warm Stone and Cinnamon underneath my lash line. I'll zoom you in and then we'll come back and talk about the rest. Okay, so here's the look. The other thing I have on my eyes aside from mascara is the Tarte Skinny Smolder Eyes in Sunstone Bronze. I have that on my top lash line as well as in my upper waterline. For blush today, I have the Clinique Ginger Pop blush. I do have highlight on today as well. Sometimes I forget to say that. I have the Giorgio Armani highlight in Belladonna in all of its gorgeousness. And then for lips today, I have the NARS lipstick in Outsider, which looks like that. We'll give you a swatch right here. The third look that I created today kind of started one way and went another way. You know, sometimes that happens. So I used this color right here, which is called Fawn, all over my lid. And that color looks more silvery in the pan, but on your lid, or like when I swatched on my hand to see what the payoff would be like, it is much more, and you'll see this in the swatches at the end, but it's much more champagne almost. So it's kind of a silver gold combo. And then with a very fluffy brush, I used this one, which is Cinnamon. And it's a very matte, warm, mid-tone brown. I used that with a fluffy brush in the crease. And then I took it on a 217 brush or a Sigma E35 brush, a little more densely packed brush. Put that on the outer corner and into the crease as well, just to kind of deepen it. And that's all that I had originally intended on doing on my lid. And then I took a liner brush, which I put away, but just like a angled liner brush, into this color right here, which is Russet. And I used that all along my lash line. I was going to kind of do a little baby wing. I ended up not loving that. I just didn't like it. So I just kind of deepened everything, that same 217 brush with that Russet color as well. I wanted to wear a little bit of a bolder lip today, so I was kind of doing a amped up neutral eye. that makes sense. And then I also took that cinnamon color, again, that warm brown, just lightly under my lash line. I will zoom you in and then we'll come back and talk about the rest. Okay, here's the look. Okay, so the only other little bit of liner that I did was I used my Sunstone Bronze in my upper waterline area. The only liner, as I said, was that russet color along my upper lash line. And for blush today, I set it down, I used the Jordana in Rose Silk. It's a really pretty, just a kind of muted rose color. A little bit of highlight today. I have my Laura Mercier Baked Highlight. And then on my lips today, which is kind of the star of the show, I suppose, is my MAC Magenta Lip Liner. And then I used the Heavenly Hybrid lipstick. For my fourth look, I did a little bit more of a dramatic look, as you can hopefully tell. I will show you here. I used Balanced on the inner third. On the outer 2/3, I used Warm Stone. To blend out the crease, I used Cozy. I also took Cozy under my lower lash line and then put that Warm Stone over the top of that to blend out my black liner after I put that on. And then I used Sugar Milk as my brow bone highlight. So I will zoom you in. Okay, so here's the look. Not a look I do very often. Okay, so as you can tell, I used a black liner on my upper lash line, an upper and lower waterline as well. I used the Tarte Skinny Smolder Eyes in Onyx. For my cheeks today, I used the Cargo Blush in Tonga, one of my favorite kind of go-to blushes. And then on my lips, I used MAC's Lip Liner in Whirl, and then I used Cream Cup over the top of that. So let me go ahead and give you some swatches of all of the colors in the palette just on my hand. I'll give you finger swatches first and then on my hand. So this is Oyster Sand, Sugar Milk, Mild Mannered, and Dove. So Oyster Sand, Sugar Milk, Mild Mannered, and then Dove. This is Fawn, which I believe when I used this in the look, this is that kind of silver champagne look. I believe I called it the wrong name. Cinnamon, Russet, and Balanced right there. So that is Fawn, Cinnamon, Russet, and Balanced. The final row, Cozy, Innocent, Optimistic, and Warm Stone. Cozy, Innocent, Optimistic, and Warm Stone. Okay, so this obviously is a palette that you can buy on Sigma's website. I'm a little concerned. This is just the way my luck goes. I went and looked online and it currently says out of stock. I really hope they're bringing it back into stock so that if anybody was interested in getting this palette, good. Otherwise, if you have this palette, or hopefully when I show you these swatches, that kind of gives you an idea of other colors that might be in your collection that you could use with this. But this sells for $39. That is the price that it on Sigma's site. When it came in a little, trying to put it back in here. I can't actually get back in there. It came in a nice sleeve, nothing that I would normally keep just for the sake of showing you guys. It's a nice cardboard palette, decent sized mirror. I still have the protective thing on it because I'm crazy like that. I liked this palette. I was impressed with it. I have had bad experience in the past with Sigma's kind of first venture into makeup, which has caused me to not purchase anything else from their makeup line. I've enjoyed their brushes for many years, but this is the first piece of makeup that I bought aside from the liners, which I was able to swatch when I was at their store in the Mall of America before I purchased. 5 of the 12 colors in this palette are matte, and I really like that. The only shade I didn't love is this one, which I believe that I referred to as Balanced. It actually is Fawn, and that's the kind of combo silver, gold, champagne kind of color. The only reason I didn't like it is because I had glitter all over my face. Like towards the end of the day, like I felt like the glitter kept falling off of my face. So that's probably the only one I didn't like. Interestingly enough, this one right here, this Warm Stone, much like NARS's Galapagos, the glitters tend to disappear. Hopefully you saw that when I zoomed in, there wasn't a ton of glitter on my lid where it looks like in the pan there's a ton of glitter. And as I said, Narcissus Galapagos performs the exact same way. So I did really enjoy these. I felt they blended very well. So interestingly enough, I feel like the shimmer shades kicked up the least amount of dust, you know, when you would put your brush into it, which is expected. And the two glitter shades kicked up much more dust than the matte ones did. So I found that very interesting. But the mattes blended very, very well, which, you know, sometimes can be an issue. I think that's tricky always to get a matte that blends well. So I'm not sure why I keep looking at it, but I really am impressed with this palette. I feel like $39 is a decent value for this. There is 12 grams of product in here total, if that makes a difference to you. So 1 gram per shadow, I would imagine, if there are 12 shadows. Yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I will run down very quickly for you the things that I used on my face throughout the entire video. So I did have the Misha Perfect cover on my face throughout the whole video. I also had my Chanel Double Matte Perfection. Over the top of that, I used the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer under my eyes as well as on any blemishes. And I've been using the Tarte Architect Brow product, brow pencil. And then the mascara that I used throughout the entire video was the Merle Norman Wicked Mascara on my top lashes. And the Clinique Lash Power Mascara Extension Visible, this one right here, on my lower lashes. This has a really nice teeny brush that if you saw my favorites for March, you probably saw me talk about that already. So, all right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're having a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.